My fellow Americans, it is not what your YouTube can do for you, it's what you can do for YouTube. Not bad for my Kennedy impression. How about my, let's see. Oh, my Nixon impression.
I am not a crook. You know I'm not a crook. Because I shake hands with Elvis Presley. So therefore, I'm not a crook.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I am Ronald Reagan. Pretty neat, huh, Nancy? I was once an actor, and now I'm the President of the United States. Now I know what you're thinking. Why am I doing impressions of presidents, huh? Well, I decided I'm going to do something different. Since the Hoosier Theater, you know, that theater over at Vevay, the historical Hoosier Theater, they decided to show a movie, and therefore I decided to review the movie that they've already been shown. My fellow Americans, this here is a really good movie. Sadly, Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs down, but to me, I give it a thumbs up to my part. That's why I'm dressing all patriotic. Sadly, I don't have a blue jacket or plants, but anyway. I never like wearing suits anyway. Anyway, what's it all about? It's about Jack Lemmon here. He plays a Republican president, and Jeff Garner is playing a Democratic president. A couple of years later, Jack Lemmon became president, and then 4 years later, he's been voted out, and now James Garner now became elected president of the United States. And then a couple of years later, he was voted out, and now Dan Aykroyd is now becoming president. Now, the shocker is about all this, folks, is that, for those of you who wants to know what party am I part of, it's going to upset you folks. But in case you want to know, I'm a conservative Republican. But don't let that stop you for letting me do my impressions and entertain you folks. Besides, I'm here to make you laugh. I'm not going to say anything negative about the liberals or the Democrats. That's not my part. That's not my thing. Anyway, in this movie, here is a shocker. Dan Aykroyd's character, named Haney, he has a bit of a kickback during the time when he was vice president to Jack Lemmon. He took a kickback over at Libya. And his chief of staff thought it would be a good idea, instead of not letting people know that he took the kickback, they make it look like that Jack Lemmon took the kickback. And they convinced their contractor to say that it was Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon got really ticked off about it. And now, the chairman of the Democrats, they wanted James Gardner to get involved and figure out who took the kickback. So, he found his old contractor, who's his old friend. And I remember what he said. Who took the kickback? If it's Russell P. Kramer, that's Jack Lemmon's character, I give you a big kiss on the lips. Tongue, no tongue, your choice. I'd rather say I give you a big hug. Squeeze, no squeeze, your choice. Unbelievable. Anyway, now Charlie Reynolds get assassinated, and so now Jack Lemmon and James Gardner are now on the run because there's somebody from the NSA who is trying to get him killed. He put him in a helicopter, And as they got off the helicopter, they discovered that the helicopter exploded. So now they're trying to keep themselves away from the U.S. government team, the NSA. And then all of a sudden they meet this happy family who is camping out. And they let them share their bed and all. And of course the guy in his sleep always keeps squeezing Jack Lemmon's breasts. Oh my god, he's greasing my breast again. Well, this time, pretend not to enjoy it. Oh, shut your cake hole! That's one thing. I mean, despite their hatred, they do get along in their own way. Despite their politics sides that they're in. So they finally figured out that it was Haney's chief of staff who was responsible for the shifting the blame. So they decided to go straight to the White House and have a talk to Dan Aykroyd, who plays Haney. And then therefore there was Tanner, the bad guy from the NSA. He tries to get him killed. And then all of a sudden they try to hit on a parade. Little do they know it was a gay pride parade. And they were hiding a bunch of gay guys who's dressing up as Dorothy playing the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I don't know, Dorothy becomes an inspiration for gay guys? That's weird. Anyway, they finally found Jack Lemmon's presidential museum about his years before he became president and after. And of course, Jack Lemmon says this to James Garner. Here's something you don't have. I was Time Magazine's Man of the Year. So was Hitler. Not twice. But it finally figured out that they changed the schedule because he always made sure that he doesn't go over budget on what he bought. Yeah, he is one cheap SOB. Laura Bacall was a really great actress in this movie. Some of you might know Laura Bacall. She's the one who married Humphrey Bogart, sweetheart. Of course, I can't get over that one thing she says to Jack Lemmon. Don't say freaking. If you want to use the F word, go for the goal. I'm not going for the goal. Sorry, folks. I know there's a lot of religious people and some kids watching this show, so therefore I'm not going in any goals. Sorry, lost my balance. What was that? Oh, yeah. They finally got into the White House, but the NSA is trying to get them away from Dan Aykroyd. So they got onto their horses, and they galloped their horses, riding all the way. And then when Tanner, the main bad guy, aimed his gun at them, and all of a sudden there's these two snipers. They start saying they look like the two presidents. And Tanner says, "That's impossible. The presidents are dead. Shoot." But the sniper recognized him, so therefore he shot Tanner instead of them. And Tanner died. And here's a little secret to you guys. The sniper who shot Tanner, he told Jack Lemmon that they met before. Somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, dear. Boy. So, they convinced Dan Aykroyd that he should resign as president because of that kickback he did. So, he decided to step aside. And now his vice president, Matthew, who is an idiot, but they finally figured out that he was behind all this. Vice President Matthew. He wasn't the idiot like they thought he was. Because there were two reasons why Matthew can become president. If Dan Aykroyd gets assassinated or he has to resign. And one thing I thought it was so stupid, and of course it's John Hurd who plays Matthew. He said, "Everybody thinks I'm this idiot, but nobody don't know it's just been a big facade." But it turns, although Jim Gardner got his confession on recording, learned from the master. But of course, the Speaker of the House becomes president, because that's the White House rules, though. If the president gets assassinated or resign, the vice president will take over, and if something happens to the vice president, the Speaker of the House takes over. That's the thing. But they decided to went to the Ogle House, and they finally gave the recording, and now Matthew is behind bars. And now James Garner and Jack Lemmon are trying to be voted back as president once again. But of course they don't know which one's going to be president or vice president. But James Garner tricked him. He dropped money on the ground and said, "Hey, that's money. Did you drop that?" And Jack Lemmon bent over to get it, and it went like, "My fellow Americans, you son of a..." Good night, everybody. And that is My Fellow Americans. Some of you may like this movie, but some of you may not like this movie, but to me, I love it. I watched this movie dozens of times, and I still love it. So, I don't care what Sisker and Evil says. I give this movie a thumbs up because it's absolutely hilarious and very fun. Especially big thanks to the late, great Jack Lemmon and the late, great Jim Gardner. Yeah, they both passed away. Well, let's see what time... Oh, I think I have a few more times to do this. I could do more presidential impressions. Here's my Jeff Bush impression. Read my lips. No new taxes. Can't do Ford, can't do Carter, can't do those impressions. Well, you hear me do Ronald Reagan, of course. Oh yeah, George W. Bush. My fellow Americans, folks around here call me W, but you can call me King George. That's a joke, son. And I think the one that you will know I would definitely go for. Hi there, my name is Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relation with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. But I am wearing her underwear. And it's a thong. I just love doing that. And of course I can do Barack Obama, believe it or not. My fellow Americans, I am Barack Obama, and I will go down in history as the first black man who became president of United States. And of course, for those of you who would boo on me, but those of you just enjoy it, I'm going to do my Donald Trump impression. My fellow Americans, this is Donald Trump, President of the United States, and one thing I'm going to say to Barack Obama, you're fired. So pack your bags and go. Now I know some of you are going to be thinking, who is going to take over as the boss and the new apprentice? Well, since I'm going to be president, I decided to let one man who would take over as a new apprentice. And therefore, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're hired.
thank you, Donald Trump. It is an honor to be the new horse of the new apprentice. And which one of you are gonna be my apprentice? I always support Donald Trump. And for those of you who do not support Donald Trump, I'll be back with my tank, running you over. And Obama, put that cookie down, now!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, who would be president in the future? Who knows? Only time will tell. What, me? You want me to be president? Nah, sorry. I don't think I'm good enough to be president. Besides, I couldn't even lead a bunch of cows to a slaughterhouse even if I had a map with me. I think I'm better off as an ambassador, since I'm really good with foreign people. I'm really good with people, so I think I'm good as an ambassador, and not as a president. So if any of you like this review of My Fellow Americans, please leave a comment down below, hit like, subscribe, and those of you who hate hearing me doing those impressions, just enjoy the impressions. It's just fun, okay? So God bless America, and see you soon.